According to data from the American Breeders Association, there are nearly 90 million head of cattle in the country. However, not all of them are raised for food. Data collected from 2009 indicates that the number of cattle slaughtered for commercial meat production was only about 33.3 million head. If that figure is compared to the number of burgers produced by McDonald's, it seems impossible that it could be covered. It seems impossible that the beef supply in all of America could meet McDonald's requirements for producing their burgers. Then the question is, where does McDonald's get the meat to make their patties from, besides beef? Hey guys, Sean here and welcome back. Today, we're going to discuss something truly iconic, but one that might secretly harbor the darkest secrets behind the scenes of the fast food industry. From thousands of outlets spread across the globe to the meat counts that seem nonsensical when compared to the cattle stock on Earth. Is your favorite burger honestly safe? Because you never know how deep this hole goes. McDonald's is truly top of mind for people when they crave a burger, because this brand is so iconic. You could say that McD's truly dominates the global fast food scene. Now, because according to the statistics, there were approximately 41,800 McD's outlets worldwide in 2023. To be precise, there were 41,822 outlets, which is an increase from about 40,200 outlets in 2022. And guys, even though they already have many outlets across almost the entire world, McD's wasn't satisfied just yet. They want to continue expanding their business. By the end of 2023, McD's announced plans to open 9,000 new locations worldwide by 2027. So you can just imagine, guys, how many outlets that is. So, roughly speaking, if McD's focus is on burgers, which inherently use patties, the patty is made of ground meat, and the main ingredient is beef. If there are 9,000 outlets, that means how many million cattle do they have to slaughter every day? And then, within the next few years, McD's management projects that there will be approximately 50,000 McD's outlets. At that time, McD's projected a 4% net growth of their new outlets in 2024, which would increase to 5% in the following years. Now, in their home country, which is America, McD's has, with 13,449 outlets, the United States boasts the highest number of McDonald's locations on Earth. That's actually not all that surprising, considering they opened their first location in San Bernardino, California, back in 1940, and they've been growing rapidly ever since.
Known as car hops. In 1948, the brothers streamlined their entire restaurant experience when they temporarily closed the restaurant for remodeling.
That city, Houston, Texas, then became the first American city to have the most outlets, boasting 126 locations there. One McDonald's outlet in the United States is even nicknamed the most beautiful McDonald's in America and has become a historic landmark in the brand's journey. Then there's the Freeport, Maine location, which is often called the fanciest McDonald's on Earth. It's the only one that serves lobster rolls during the summer. Meanwhile, over in France and the UK, those countries have the highest number of McDonald's outlets in Europe, with roughly 1,600 and 1,400 locations respectively. Now, the location in Wells, Maine, specifically the one on Wells Pool, is actually dubbed the best McDonald's in the world by a celebrity chef. That's because they offer a pretty upscale menu, featuring a sandwich loaded with truffle-infused mayo along with a Cadbury chocolate McFlurry, making it widely considered one of the most luxurious McDonald's menus on Earth. And get this, it's only available at that specific location. Over in the Asia Pacific and Middle East region, China takes the crown, boasting the highest number of Golden Arch locations with nearly 6,000 outlets. Japan and Australia follow closely behind, with 2,908 and 1,030 locations, respectively. But get this, guys, there are still 123 countries out there without a single McDonald's outlet key. That includes places like North Korea, Iran, Russia, and Iceland, just to name a few that don't have any locations. So, in the rest of the countries on Earth, every other country on Earth has them. With that many outlets, guys, you can only imagine just how many there are. Just how many burgers has McDonald's produced? According to several sources, McDonald's sells 6.5 billion burgers in 2021 alone, which means McDonald's makes about 75 burgers every single second across the globe. This figure is considered to be much closer to the actual amount, since there are 86,400 seconds in a day, meaning McDonald's sells roughly 6.48 million burgers every single day. If you calculate it over a full year, the total reaches more than 236 billion beef patties worldwide. Back in the day, guys, there was a sign at McDonald's outlets that showed the total number of burgers McDonald's had sold that day. So it showed exactly how many they had sold, allowing people to see. And it was also a form of promotion to convince people that their burgers were delicious because they were so popular. People felt triggered to keep buying more and more. Pretty cool, right? Their marketing was great. But, guys, since 1994, McDonald's decided to stop publicly counting the number of burgers they sold. So, people don't know anymore how many burgers McDonald's has sold. They've become closed off, never publishing the numbers again. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal, back in 2013, McDonald's was already close to selling 300 billion burgers. Now, some people in the F&B industry estimate that McDonald's burger sales have reached nearly 400 billion burgers, or perhaps even more. But yeah, there are sources saying that McDonald's has sold up to trillions of burgers. So everyone assumes, wow, they've sold so many. But to this day, McDonald's has never disclosed exactly how many they have sold. But you can be sure they have the data. The harder McDonald's works on expanding its business across various parts of the world, meaning the more stores they open, the more outlets they launch, the more burgers they sell. Whether they sell or not, they clearly stock up on meat and bread, right? Which means the more bread stock they have, the more flour is needed. Likewise, with the meat, the more beef patties or ham they store in the freezer, the more beef patties or ham they store in the freezer, the more cattle must be slaughtered. That's the logic, right? With these numbers, it's no wonder McDonald's is called the king of fast food. They have so many outlets, and they sell so many burgers. Not to mention their marketing campaign, which I think was very successful, especially the kids' meal that attracts younger customers, so their market really covers all age groups. Adults love eating there. On top of that, they have the kids' meal, or Happy Meal as we know it. In the end, kids love McDonald's too. So basically, people of all ages love McDonald's. In addition, they have the iconic McDonald's clown mascot, which remains deeply ingrained in people's memories to this day. So it's safe to say McDonald's has been pretty successful, right? Up to this point, you guys understand that. Their journey has been nothing short of remarkable. They've long established themselves in the food and beverage industry and have become the reigning king, particularly in the burger market. However, setting aside McDonald's success in terms of business and food sales, this fast food brand has become the subject of widespread discussion due to the conspiracies surrounding it, including questions about why McDonald's burgers are so loved by so many people. After all, every food business has its own secret recipe, something that sets their products apart and keeps customers coming back. But the real question is, what makes McDonald's burgers, which are essentially just fast food, sell so massively? But that's not the main focus of our discussion today. What we're going to explore is how McDonald's manages to supply such massive amounts of beef. Because if you really think about it, when you compare the number of burgers they sell to the number of cattle available worldwide, it almost doesn't seem to add up. The amount of beef they would need compared to the global cattle population feels somewhat disproportionate. The imbalance is in the scale of it. The number of cattle seems limited, yet McDonald's demand looks enormous, especially when you factor in their thousands of outlets serving millions of customers every day. And this is where the conspiracy takes a darker turn. Some people believe that McDonald's doesn't rely solely on beef, but may be using human meat. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so as we know, burger patties are typically made from using minced beef, ground beef, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. But what if McDonald's has been rumored not using beef in their burgers? Instead, there are allegations that they use human meat. This conspiracy didn't just surface recently, it had already become a topic of discussion back in 2014. And at that time, a rumor spread across social media claiming that human meat had been found in McDonald's food products. One of the widely shared posts even alleged that McDonald's burgers were made from the bodies of underage individuals. The rumor began circulating after the horsemeat scandal in Europe. So let me explain this briefly, guys, before we dive deeper into the McDonald's discussion, so you can understand the connection between the horsemeat scandal and the McDonald's conspiracy. So here's what happened, guys. At the time, Ireland's Food Safety Authority, the FSAI, tested various frozen beef burgers, including low-cost and fast food products sold in supermarkets in November 2012, to determine whether there was DNA from other species present in those products, which was not listed on the product labels. And the results showed that they had found horse DNA in more than 1/3 of the beef burger samples, and pork DNA in 85% of the samples, even though the labels listed only beef. So the beef suppliers there were essentially being dishonest, guys. There was no indication that the products contained horse meat or pork, so this could clearly be considered consumer fraud. And the supermarket supply chains in Ireland and the UK were closely connected at the time. Now, the FSAI said they had already informed the UK's food authority, known as the FSA, back in November, because what was being sold in Ireland would also be sold in the UK. So the FSAI alerted the British authorities, essentially warning them to be cautious because the meat being exported from Ireland to the UK was found to contain pork and horse meat, not 100% beef as labeled. The FSA only became aware of the issue in January 2013, and they had no idea how long the adulteration had been going on. How much horse meat and pork had already been sold as beef? And on top of that, the UK has a significant Muslim population. So this clearly crossed the line into serious consumer fraud. Eventually, the scandal truly shocked Europe because countless people had already purchased and consumed those products, including Muslims living there. It was also very likely that restaurants had bought and used the same meat products, and one of the brands suspected at the time was McDonald's. After the scandal came to light, rumors about McDonald's began circulating, particularly targeting their outlets across Europe, which were also suspected of using horse meat and pork in their burgers. And McDonald's name began drawing even more attention when another rumor began circulating claiming that McDonald's was not only using animal meat, such as horse, pork, or beef, but that rumors had even emerged claiming they were using human meat. At that point, things escalated quickly. According to information I found from The Independent, it stated that as much as 90% human meat had been found in their outlets. Can you imagine that? Doesn't that give you chills, guys? And within that claim, it was said that there was an audio recording of someone accusing McDonald's of mixing human meat into their burgers as an added ingredient. Crazy, right? I honestly couldn't believe a rumor like this was even circulating, especially since I actually like McDonald's burgers. There were even stories claiming that a police inspector had discovered human meat and horse meat at a factory located in Oklahoma. The meat was reportedly stored in a freezer. The alleged human meat was also said to have been found in several trucks that were transporting crates to various McDonald's outlets. According to multiple reports, authorities inspected the factory and restaurants across the country, and they supposedly discovered human meat in most of the locations, guys, while horse meat was found in 65% of them. An FBI agent named Lloyd Harrison reportedly told a reporter from Hustler magazine that the worst part of the discovery wasn't the revelation that human meat had allegedly been used in their products, but rather that the human meat allegedly being used included that of underage individuals. These small body parts were reportedly found in factories across the United States and were said to be too small to belong to adults. After the rumors spread across social media, many people began searching for information to verify whether it was true. At the time, if you type this into Google, it would appear like this. I can't say it directly, it might need to be slightly blurred, but you get what I mean. In the search bar, Google would even suggest about it like McDonald's or something along those lines. Man, I really can't say it. It's so tricky on YouTube. Even though our goal here is just to inform and educate, we still have to be careful about how we say it. And this shows just how shocking the issue was to the public. I mean, who wouldn't be shocked, right? McDonald's is incredibly popular and has millions of customers. Even though the issue was initially shocking and quite a few people believed it, no evidence was ever presented to the public to support those claims, no proof of human meat being found at McDonald's. So, at that point, the story was nothing more than wild speculation circulating on the internet. And things became even more chaotic later that same year, when there was a news report claiming that a human tooth had been found in a serving of McDonald's fries in Japan. At that time, on the 3rd of September 2014, a woman living in the city of Kushiro and stopped by a McDonald's outlet in Kushiro, specifically the Kaizuka Dori location, intended to purchase 4 items, including a hamburger and a cheeseburger to take away. While eating at home, she suddenly noticed an object that looked like a tooth. At that moment, she took a photo of it, which showed 3 items assumed to be teeth, 1 large, 1 medium, and 1 small. After discovering the teeth, the woman immediately called the restaurant to confirm and report what she had found. Not long after, the store manager came to the woman's house to apologize and to refund 100 yen, the equivalent of the hamburger she had purchased. Then, the object believed to be a tooth was taken by the store manager for examination. Sometime later, the manager returned to the woman's house to share the results of the investigation regarding the tooth-like object. And the outcome was, it turned out that the object was indeed a material typically used by dentists for human dental treatments, which means it was a tooth. But no one knows whose tooth it was. No one could explain whether it belonged to an employee or if it somehow got mixed in with the ground meat. To this day, it remains a mystery. Guys, still unresolved. Besides that, there have been several other objects reportedly found in McDonald's products or food. For example, one case involved a piece of blue plastic found in ice cream and a piece of vinyl discovered in a chicken nugget. After the incident, 2 McDonald's company officials named Aoki Takehiko from Japan McDonald's Holdings and Hishinuma Hideto from McDonald's Japan held a press conference to explain the findings, to address the discovery. During the press conference, they issued an apology for the foreign objects that had been found, and Aoki stated that each incident had been reported to the local health authorities, and that the company had followed the regulations that were in place. However, to this day, no one knows for sure how materials that should only be found in a dental clinic could have ended up in a McDonald's menu item. And because there were already rumors about McDonald's allegedly using human meat, some people began to assume that those materials really did come from a human tooth, possibly from someone who had undergone dental treatment while still alive. That's how the rumor went. As for the other items, like the plastic and the piece of vinyl, some speculated that they were objects that had been carried by the supposed victims, before they were allegedly ground up along with the beef and ultimately turned into McDonald's burger patties as well. And that was the rumor circulating among the public regarding the discovery of those foreign objects in McDonald's products. Is that really true? Why would McDonald's confidently claim that their burgers are made with 100% beef? Which literally means they use only beef with no mixture of any other meat in their patties. Now, based on the conspiracy theories circulating, it seems that many of us may have misunderstood what McDonald's actually means by 100%. because it's not necessarily a statement implying that the food they sell is made with real beef, rather that 100% supposedly refers to the company itself. It's claimed that McDonald's was exploiting advertising regulations when it came to their burger meat, by labeling the meat under a company name that supposedly misled the public. So the name of the company is 100% beef. So basically, they're misleading people by saying something like, their meat comes from 100% beef. And technically, that statement isn't wrong, because the meat comes from a company called 100% beef, not because the meat itself is 100% beef. There's also another version claiming that the company, besides being called 100% beef, is also referred to as the All Beef Company, 100% Beef Company, or even 100% Australian Beef. So that's actually the company's name. And all of this was allegedly done so McDonald's could continue advertising their burgers as 100% beef. According to this conspiracy, however, the patties had supposedly been mixed with other animals or other products, one of which was rumored to include human meat. And that 100% beef label doesn't mean the meat is made purely from beef, it refers to the company that partners with McDonald's to supply their meat. So McDonald's can claim that their meat comes from 100% beef, meaning it comes from a company called 100% Beef. That's basically the idea, guys. The estimated number of burgers sold by McDonald's is around about 6 million burgers a day, which feels unrealistic when compared to the number of cattle in America. The United States is indeed one of the largest beef producers in the world. According to data from the American Cattlemen's Association, there are nearly 90 million head of cattle in the country, but not all of them are processed for food production. Data from 2009 shows that only around 33.3 million cattle were slaughtered for commercial beef production. If that number is compared to the number of burgers produced by McDonald's, it doesn't seem like it would be enough to cover the demand. It feels unlikely that the entire beef supply in the United States could fully meet McDonald's burger production needs. After all, cattle companies don't sell their meat exclusively to McDonald's, right? There's also general public consumption to consider. So how could they possibly cover McDonald's demand in the US, especially at that scale? So the question is, where does McDonald's get enough meat to make their patties, aside from beef? Well, according to the conspiracy rumors circulating, human meat is supposedly used as an additional source, be mixed with beef in order to meet McDonald's meat demand. Now, this didn't remain just a rumor, guys. People started connecting it with missing persons data in the United States, how many missing person cases there are each year. And from a source I found on an Instagram account discussing America, it stated that every year, more than 600,000 people are reported missing in the United States. Every year, 600,000 people. And according to data from the National Crime Information Center, or NCIC, most of these cases involve adults and children who are eventually found. However, there are still thousands of victims who are never found to this day. No one knows where they went, they simply vanished. If this rumor were true, then how would McDonald's obtain these so-called victims? That's the big question. It's not easy to kidnap or kill someone and turn them into burger meat. It sounds unbelievable when you think about it. But according to what I've read from circulating rumors, it is allegedly done through a foundation created by McDonald's called Ronald McDonald House. Some of us might only be learning now that McDonald's actually has a foundation. This foundation works together with the Red Shoe Society, a group of volunteers that raises funds under or supports the activities of Ronald McDonald House. This group aims to help families with children who have serious illnesses or who are undergoing treatment at medical facilities. I tried looking into why it's called the Red Shoe Society, but there's no clear explanation about the origin of the name. Honestly, guys, the name Red Shoe Society sounds a bit odd. In slang, red shoe doesn't just mean red shoes, it can imply stepping into something red, like blood. If you've ever heard that Cardi B song, "These is red bottoms, these is bloody shoes," what does she say? These are red bottoms, right? She also says, these are bloody shoes. So some people link Red Shoe Society to that darker meaning. although there has never been an official explanation for the name. There's also speculation that it refers to the McDonald's clown who wears red shoes, so the name subtly reminds people of McDonald's. So it could simply be referencing the red shoes worn by the McDonald's clown we all know. But honestly, that's not the most iconic part of the clown, right? When I see the McDonald's clown, I don't focus on the shoes. I notice the round nose, the curly hair, that slightly creepy smile. That's what stands out more, right? So why focus on the red shoes? That part feels strange. However, guys, according to several conspiracy theories, the name Red Shoe isn't just about the clown's shoe color. There's supposedly something darker behind the name Red Shoe, which is that red shoe supposedly symbolizes a group associated with what people online call PDF. You probably know what that stands for. I just can't say the full word here. It's claimed that this group performs rituals involving underage individuals and consumes their so-called red liquid, referred to as adrenochrome. Adrenochrome is believed, within this theory, to be derived from the red liquid of underage victims and used by elites or famous figures to extend their lives and maintain youth. The liquid is allegedly obtained in horrifying ways. These underage victims are supposedly terrified and traumatized first. Only after that is the red liquid extracted for consumption, and according to the rumor, it has to be done after they are traumatized, because supposedly that's when the chemical reaction produces adrenochrome. That's what they're after. So it's not taken immediately. They're allegedly made fearful and stressed first. This is how Red Shoe Society is linked to the conspiracy claimed to be a front for obtaining underage victims, who would later be processed into meat for burger patties. It sounds terrifying. And although to this day there is no confirmed evidence, no clear proof released, and no official clarification from McDonald's, the rumor continues to circulate. My role here isn't to push any agenda, guys, but simply to inform you that this phenomenon is real. People are actually talking about it. So there you have it, guys. Today's discussion was about the conspiracy that McDonald's allegedly uses human meat in their burger patties. What do you think? Do you actually believe this conspiracy? Or is it nothing more than a baseless rumor? Go ahead and write your thoughts down in the comments. And before we close this video, sometimes the things that sound impossible are the ones people try hardest to hide. The internet is full of strange stories, but not all of them are just stories. If you're still watching, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.